The value chain for internet infrastructure begins with the pricing for internet access. Households and business establishments pay for access to the internet. ISPs provide that access and use the revenue to pay for inputs, namely, other internet infrastructure. In the first half of the 1990s, most commercial ISPs tried the same pricing norms governing bulletin boards. For bulletin boards, the pricing structure of the majority of services involved a subscription charge on a monthly or yearly basis and an hourly fee for usage. For many applications, users could get online for bursts of time, which would reduce the size of usage fees. The emergence of faster and cheaper modems in the mid-1990s and large-scale modem banks with lower per-port costs opened the possibility for a different pricing norm, one that did not minimize the time users spent on the telephone communicating with a server. The emergence of low-cost routines for accessing a massive number of phone lines also contributed to a new norm because it enabled many ISPs to set up modem banks at a scale only rarely seen during the bulletin board era. As the internet commercialized, two broad viewpoints emerged about pricing. One viewpoint paid close attention to user behavior. Users found it challenging to monitor time online, often due to multiple users within one household. The ISPs with sympathy for these user complaints priced their services as unlimited usage for a fixed monthly price. These plans were commonly referred to as flat rate or unlimited plans. Another viewpoint regarded user complaints as transitory. Supporters of this view pointed to cellular telephones and bulletin boards as examples where users grew accustomed to pricing per minute. The most vocal supporter for this view was one up-and-coming bulletin board firm, America Online, now known simply as AOL, which had seemed to grow with such usage pricing. As it turned out, flat rate emerged as the dominant pricing mode for wireline access. There were many reasons for this. For one, the U.S. Telephone Universal Service Policy had long subsidized local landline household calls by charging greater prices for business and long-distance calls than for local calls, which were priced at a flat rate per month in almost every state, with the definition of local left to a state regulator. Typically, local was defined over a radius of 10 to 15 miles, sometimes less in dense urban areas, such as Manhattan. Thus, using local rates reduced household user expenses, thereby making the service more attractive. That enabled an ISP to offer service to non-technical users, betting the users would not stay online for long, in effect, anywhere from 20 to 30 hours of time a month at most. Because such light users did not all dial in on the same day or at the same time of day, the equipment investment did not need to handle all calls at once. With such light users, an ISP could serve a local area with modem bank capacity at anywhere from 1/3 to 1/4 the size of the total local service base. A large enough user community could thus share equipment, defraying equipment costs for an ISP offering flat rate. Experiments showed that the economies of scale for defraying equipment costs in this way could support approximately 1,000 users in a local point of presence. For many dial-up ISPs, this was not a binding constraint. Flat rate succeeded for another reason. Other firms entered into the production of web services, complementing what ISPs provided. Flat rate appealed to users who could then choose among a wide array of media and services, P10. Throughout 1996, 1997, and 1998, ISPs experimented with hourly limits and penalties for exceeding these caps, yet most users resisted them. The experiments were motivated by many users who stayed online for far more than 20 to 30 hours a month, thereby ruining the key economics that allowed ISPs to share equipment across many users. Most such limits were not particularly binding, involving monthly limits ranging from 60 to 100 hours. Some ISPs tried offering steep discounts for steep limits, such as $10 discounts for 30 hours a month. Yet few buyers took them, persisting with the slightly more expensive unlimited contracts, typically priced as $20 per month. In short, despite all these experiments, flat rate dominated transactions during the dial-up era of the commercial internet.